Deion Sanders and Colorado received a much-needed message about how teams are going to be coming at them in 2024. Hint, they're going to be coming for the necks.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I am your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in every single day. We are talking about Colorado and the warning they received from former NFL head coach Steve Mariucci. Obviously, him and Coach Prime have a long-standing relationship. They coached the Under Armour All-American game together for several years, and then they also worked at the NFL Network together. So they know each other quite well. And Steve, or Coach Mooch, as Coach Prime calls him, was at the Colorado's Buffalo practices and spring events this past week or so. And he gave a speech to the team, him and Mark Schlereth. And there was one major message that I think stood out from Steve, or Coach Mooch, that I think really needs to resonate with this Colorado team, just in case it didn't resonate with them last year. And I think it's more so for the newer guys to kind of understand the pressure that they're going into, or pressure that they're going to receive. And he basically told them, everyone is coming for you. Everyone wants to see you fail, and everyone wants to put all of the pressure in the world on you. And you guys need to be ready for that. He said, and I quote, "The world's watching you guys. I'm telling you right now, people don't know what's going on here. It's happening so fast, and some people are on your side and saying this is really exciting in terms of, like, obviously the success and what Coach Prime is building." But he also said, and some people are just kind of rooting against you because it's not supposed to happen that fast. And so obviously, I think that's kind of a given, right? I think everyone at Colorado knows that people are going to root against them. But I think these new guys need to really understand, and even the guys that were there last year and maybe didn't fully grasp what happened. But you need to understand, at Colorado, there is a different standard now. There is a standard of, it's almost like they're holding them to a standard of excellence, even though they know the mountain that they have to climb. And so Coach Prime, because he is who he is and people are going to come after him regardless, there is sort of a standard of excellence that people know is really hard to achieve, but they're going to hold him to it because they want to see him fail. They want to see this team fail. They want to see this team struggle. They want to see him fall on their face. And so for these new guys, just in case they don't get it, they really need to understand that for every high moment they have, every huge moment where they're succeeding, there's going to be 5 people cheering for them. Obviously a lot more. This is just my little breakdown of it. But when they fail, there's going to be 50 people ready and waiting to be like, ha, you failed. Good. And so I know some of these guys come from like the LSU, the Alabamas, SEC programs all over the country, and that's great. You know, they have expectations there. But I don't think there's a team as scrutinized as Colorado was. Now, a lot of their scrutiny that they kind of faced last season, some of it was self-inflicted, going up to Oregon and kind of talking a lot of trash before the game, and then obviously getting blown out by 40 something points wasn't great, or 30 something points wasn't great. And I think a lot of people realistically did not really want to see Colorado succeed because of moments like that. And I think these new guys need to really get that this is like a different level of criticism, because Colorado is either very supported or very hated. Whereas at other programs, I wouldn't say they're hated. It's just they have high expectations. Like Alabama has high expectations. And while there are, I'm sure, some fans that hate them, it's not really, there's not a hatred towards them. It's more so like, we expect Alabama to do really good. So when they struggle, it's like, okay, what the hell is wrong, Alabama? So I thought this warning was a very good one. I think it's one that Coach Prime will probably reiterate to his team dozens, if not hundreds of times. And it's something that when it comes from other people, I think sometimes it means more. And you're probably like, how can it mean more coming from Steve Mariucci and not Deion Sanders? Well, and I think Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Warriors, put it best one time. Sometimes the guys just get tired of his voice. Now, I don't know, and I don't think that these guys could get tired of Coach Prime's voice, because obviously he's a legend and NFL Hall of Famer. So it's like, it's pretty crazy to think that, you know what, these kids don't want to hear him talk. But when you hear the same person saying the same message not recently, but over and over again, it kind of loses its luster. So for an outside person with the NFL coaching resume. Coach Mooch was the coach of the 49ers, the Lions, he was the coach at Cal. He has a bunch of coaching experience. When someone comes in unprompted and is like, people want you to fail. People want to watch you fail. They want to watch you not reach your goals. I think it should really hit these guys differently. I think it's also setting them up to kind of have a realistic expectation. I think oftentimes, maybe last year, there was sort of this, I don't want to say like a bubble around the team. Like I think once they started losing, they realized it, but I don't think they were ready to kind of be criticized as much as they were. It was especially evident after the Stanford game when Coach Prime was like, all that support you've been getting on social media, it's gone now. And don't respond to them because they're right. And so I think that was like his moment or their moment of like realizing like this is how it's going to be every time we struggle. So if you can't handle thousands of people telling you that you suck when you struggle, this ain't the place for you. And I think that's a huge mindset to come into. It kind of gives me, and I think I said this earlier in the offseason, it gives me an us versus them or us versus the world kind of mindset for Colorado. And I think that's the best kind of way to go about it, because when you feel like everyone's your enemy, then it's kind of like it builds team camaraderie, and it sort of also just makes success that much better, because obviously you're not winning to prove people wrong. Like that shouldn't be your main goal of winning. Like you want to win because you want to win. But it doesn't hurt to prove some people wrong along the way. So I think that was a great message from Steve Mariucci. You guys comment below if you had one sentence to say to this Colorado team. What would your one piece of advice be to this team? Like, would it be keep your heads up, keep your head on a swivel, whatever it may be? You guys comment that below, because obviously I'm sure there's a lot of philosophies out there in the world. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the latest rumors from the college football transfer portal. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking at LinkedIn, you're looking at the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write a job description, making the process even easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. We are talking transfer portal. It opens tomorrow, mañana, Tuesday. And Colorado is going to be active. They're going to be super active, I would imagine. And they have some departures. They have some guys coming in, or they'll have guys coming in. This roster is far from completed, and this is kind of Colorado's last chance to add some finishing touches ahead of the 2024 season, because obviously they're going to the Big 12 next year. They want to make a statement, and so these are guys to look out for Colorado. But first, before we dive in, Chaz Wallace, who transferred in from Old Dominion, defense lineman, he is in the portal as of today, as of Monday, so he is no longer in the fray. But obviously, Colorado added a ton of talent in the trenches, so not the biggest loss. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Chaz in Boulder, but they have more depth there, and they might even add some more. Let's dive into the portal, because obviously it's going to be crazy. It's going to be hectic AF, if you will. And I think Colorado is already making some noise, if you will. Looking at the offense line, they obviously brought in 5 transfers, Jordan Seaton, and they also have Tyler Brown working in the fray, or working in the fold as well. I think this offensive line, it was so bad, not these guys, but the unit was so bad last season that it doesn't hurt to go get a couple more. It doesn't. It really doesn't. You get another guy with starting experience, you have more depth, and your offensive line just got that much better. The right tackle spot was one that wasn't really won in spring ball thus far. We've heard a lot of reports, a lot of comments made where I would say, and Scott Proctor, who came on the show on Friday, talked about this as well. Currently, only about 2 out of the 5 spots are claimed, Justin Mayers and Jordan Seaton. So there's 3 jobs open. And so the more guys that come in, the more guys that can claim those jobs. And one of the guys that Colorado is expected to host for a visit is Arkansas transfer Andrew Chamblee, I believe is how you say it, or Chamblee, 6'6", 304 pounds. He's currently the most highly touted offense lineman in the portal. Top 200 recruit out of high school. Was an all SEC freshman. Played in 8 games, 405 snaps. Started 8 games as a redshirt freshman. Per SEC rules, and this is where Colorado could get a lot of big guys, big bodies, big talents in this spring portal. These guys, these SEC guys, cannot transfer to another SEC school. It is against the rules. And so that means a lot of SEC talent, should they leave their school, could be heading to Boulder, which means Colorado could be getting a lot more size, a lot more girth, a lot more just dogs in the trenches. And that's what they need. Sticking with the offensive line, Ruben Unije, I believe is how you say it. Offensive lineman from Louisville, 6'5", 310 pounds. Started all 11 games at right tackle for Houston, or for Louisville, or excuse me, for Houston last season before transferring to Louisville. He's set to hit the portal once again, which means he could team up with his former guys, Tyler Johnson, Chidozie Nwankwo, which would be kind of a reunion of sorts. Then you go to the defense line. I talked about this when Bear Alexander was available, and I'll talk about it again. Obviously, losing Chaz Wallace, that's a depth piece. Doesn't really do a lot to this unit, I would say, but you want more depth. And if you could go out and get a guy who played a lot of snaps last season, that helps you a ton. And one of those guys that a lot of people are circling is Bill Norton from Arizona, 6'6", 325 pounds, played in all 13 games, started all 13 games for Arizona. He didn't have a sack, but he had 32 tackles, 2.5 for a loss, 5 quarterback hurries, which, I mean, getting that pressure, forced 2 fumbles, and then he broke up 3 passes, or batted down 3 passes. One of those guys that could be following Jed Fish from Arizona to Washington. But if you're Colorado, you got to get in the mix there. You got to get in the mix. It never hurts to have a lot of size. It never hurts to have a lot of depth in the trenches. And then Philip Bliddy from Indiana, 6'3", 295. Started 11 games last season, racked up 30 tackles, played in 35 games over at Texas Tech before he transferred to Louisville. So obviously well-traveled, well-experienced. He totaled 40 tackles and 2.5 sacks, and Colorado offered him on Sunday. So Colorado's already after him. They're already after a couple of these guys, so they could be getting a lot more depth in the trenches. Linebacker help. This is a little interesting because he was dismissed from the team, or suspended indefinitely from the team, I guess. Samaje Burrell, 6 foot, 230-pound linebacker. He was in a car crash that resulted in the Texas Longhorns and Outland winner defense line, which is the best defense lineman in the country award, Tavondre Sweat. He was the other person in the car crash that crashed into Sweat, who ended up getting arrested for driving while intoxicated. Didn't play last season. Former 4-star recruit. Obviously, off the field issues, not really a great thing, but this Colorado team needs linebacker help. So I think they'll do their due diligence. I really think, or at least they should. And they've shown that they're willing to take a risk on guys. They obviously took in Juwan Mitchell last season. So there's a lot of portal talent out there. And I think Colorado, if I had to kind of forecast, they're going to go trenches, linebacker, and possibly a running back. Those would be the 3 spots where I think they'll kind of hit on the most in the portal. And realistically, that is kind of my biggest questions about this team. Are those positions ready right now, or should they be a little cautious about them? Should they add some more talent? I think they're going to go with the more talent option, and that's okay. It's okay to have more talent and depth. It's never a shame to have a lot more talent and depth working with you, because in the Big 12, it's going to be physical. Guys are going to be coming after you. Plus, injuries happen. God forbid you don't want anyone to get injured, but they do. So, Colorado, look out for their portal activity. I will keep you covered about everything they do in the portal right here on Locked On Buffs, so you guys won't want to miss it. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and why they are 2 of the best players in all of college football. It's playoff time in the NBA, NHL, and baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is the place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook. Go check out the Lakers versus Pelicans. They're playing Tuesday night. The Lakers just beat the Pelicans. Some people think that they can maybe not try as hard so that way they can match up with a young Thunder, but other people think the Lakers shouldn't take that chance and should just go all in to make it into the playoffs so that way they could clinch that 7th seed. You guys can make your own decisions. Go check it out over on FanDuel. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You guys, the NFL draft is coming up, and you guys won't want to miss what we over here at Locked On are doing. It's Locked On NFL's mock draft live on April 17th at 7 Eastern, streaming on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Find the ultimate 6-episode series on April 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern or at 7 Eastern to hear who the local experts are picking for every NFL franchise with live reactions from local college football experts and even the fantasy football angle. The Locked On NFL mock draft on April 17th at 7 Eastern, streaming live on Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. We are talking about future NFL stars Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. CBS Sports recently ranked the top 100 players in college football, and to the surprise of no Colorado fan, Colorado had 2 of the top 5 players, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter came at number 1. This is what they said about him. He's a silky smooth corner, excellent press coverage and cover 2 scheme. He has the ability to undercut routes and make the plays on the ball. Excellent hands and will sacrifice his body to make plays. He has fluid hips that allow him to trail his primary receiver, adjust to a thrown ball in his area, and get involved for a pass breakup. He's also an elite receiver, as we know. And I think having the best player in college football, big deal for Colorado. It's a big deal. Same thing with Shedeur. He is number 4. This is a little bit of what they said. They wrote a couple paragraphs. I don't want to read the whole thing to you. He said, and this is Blake Brockermeyer, Shedeur is my current pick to go first overall in the 2025 NFL draft. He's also, in my opinion, the best quarterback in college football entering the 2024 season. Has an excellent arm, makes all the throws accurate, both in the pocket and on the move, and does a great job keeping his eyes downfield. Couldn't agree more. But what does it really mean to have 2 top 5 players? And let's see if they had any other. BJ Green was also in the rankings, number 77. And then that was it. So 3 players, Travis, Shedeur, and BJ Green. If you're Colorado and you have 3 top 100 players, one, that's a huge sign of things to come for Colorado. I think if Coach Prime stays, obviously, if he leaves, it could be a bit of a different task. But with Colorado having 3 top 100 players, one, it shows just how serious people are taking this team in a sense. Like, people are respecting the talent that Coach Prime's bringing in. 2, it shows that Coach Prime can bring in talent. And 3, it shows people that they should look out for this team. Now, having 3 top 100 players is great and all, but one of them being a quarterback and being the best quarterback in the country, that moves mountains. And I've had multiple people on the show tell me that Shedeur Sanders alone is worth at least 2 or 3 wins. Like, him just being himself is worth 2 or 3 wins. So if you look at Colorado last season, and obviously he willed them to victory against Colorado State, willed them to victory against Arizona State, excuse me. He could be worth a couple more wins this year. He could be the difference between Colorado making a bowl game and not, or Colorado contending for the Big 12 or not. Like, however he plays, the team will play. He's kind of the heart and soul of the team. And so I think this is a major selling point to recruits, to transfers, whatever it may be, because I think a lot of people want to shoot down Colorado. And it's like, people are like, you can't go to Colorado and be one of the best players in the country. Really? Because right now it shows you could come to Colorado and be the best player in the country, and you can help turn around a program. So for Coach Prime to really attract this top talent, to really get the most out of this top talent, which if BJ Green hits like he did at Arizona State, like if he plays as well as he did at Arizona State, he is going to be a monster in Boulder. I think he's going to have a little more encouragement to maybe not give up on plays. And I think, obviously, Travis and Shedeur are always clicking. This team could be special. This could be a team that Colorado fans remember for the rest of their lives. It's just one of those things. They need to stay healthy. They need to improve. They need to execute. And they need to have the coaches on the same page. I saw a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before on Well Off, where there was an illegal substitution in practice or 12 men on the field, and Coach Prime pulled over all the coaches and said, "We have too many guys for this to happen. Figure it out." And I just love the accountability. I love where this team's headed. And I think Travis and Shedeur and BJ Green are going to be pivotal kind of playmakers in the success they have in 2024. They're going to be locking it down on defense, and Travis and Shedeur are going to be forming one of the best connections in all of college football. You guys are going to be pumped. It's going to be a great offseason, or a great season and offseason for Colorado. I'll keep you guys updated every step of the way. I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great start to your week. Again, see you tomorrow.